stop trying to make $1 million. Seriously. Stop it. If you want to survive in this game, your number one job isn't to get rich, it's to stop being poor. Welcome to the reality check nobody else is giving you. There is a great filter in trading. Imagine a massive wall. On one side, you have the 95% of people who deposit money, stress out, lose sleep, and eventually lose everything. On the other side, you have the elite 5%. The ones who buy the freedom, the time, and the lifestyle. Do you know what the difference is? It's not a magic indicator. It's not insider info. It's not that they are smarter than you. The difference is that the 95% are obsessed with the sword, the attack, the profit, the green candles. The 5%, they are obsessed with the shield. Most of you are walking into a war zone naked, waving a stick, screaming, "Where's my money?" Meanwhile, the market is a sniper waiting for you to make one wrong move. Today, we are flipping your entire worldview upside down. We are going to deprogram the gambler in your brain and install the operating system of a professional risk manager. Because once you stop trying to win and start refusing to lose, winning becomes inevitable. This is the survival protocol. Let's get the uncomfortable truth out of the way first. The math is rigged against you. And I don't mean the broker is cheating. I mean the laws of mathematics itself are designed to destroy your account if you are reckless. It's called geometric drag, but let's call it the pit of despair. If you have $10,000 and you lose 10%, you're down to $9,000. To get back to $10,000, you need to make about 11%. No big deal, right? That feels fair. But let's say you get emotional. You tilt. You lose 50% of your account. You are now sitting at $5,000. Here is where the amateur gets destroyed. They think, I lost 50%, I just need to make 50% to break even. Wrong. Dead wrong. If you make 50% on 5,000, you're only at 7,500. You are still underwater. To get back to your starting point, you need to make 100% profit. You have to double your money just to get back to zero. Think about how hard it is to double an account. Think about the stress, the time, the luck required. You dug a hole so deep that you have to perform a miracle just to see the sunlight again. This is why defense is not just part of the game. Defense is the game. When you refuse to take a loss, or when you risk too much on a single trade, you aren't just losing money. You are destroying your future purchasing power. You are crippling your ability to fight another day. The market is an asymmetric warfare environment. Losses hurt you exponentially more than gains help you. One bad Tuesday can erase 3 months of disciplined grinding. We've all been there, haven't we? You build the stack, brick by brick, for weeks. You feel like a genius. And then, in 1 hour of madness, you hand it all back. Why? Because you were playing offense. You were reaching for the stars while standing on quicksand. Let's change the metaphor. Stop thinking like a trader. Start thinking like a sniper in enemy territory. An amateur soldier runs into the open field holding down the trigger of a machine gun. They are spraying bullets everywhere, buying here, selling there, scalping this, hedging that. They are loud, they are aggressive, and they are terrified. They think activity equals productivity. A sniper is different. A sniper might lie in the mud for 3 days without taking a single shot. They wait. They watch. They protect their position. They camouflage themselves. Why? Because revealing their position means death. Taking a bad shot means wasting a bullet and alerting the enemy. In trading, your capital is your ammo. If you spray it all at mediocre setups because you're bored, or because you want to make back yesterday's loss, you are empty when the high-probability target finally walks into your crosshairs. Defense gives you the luxury of patience. When you know your downside is capped, when you know exactly how much you will lose in the worst-case scenario, your anxiety vanishes. You stop staring at the charts with a heart rate of 120 beats per minute. You become cold. You become calculated. The amateur asks, how much money can I make on this trade? The professional asks, how much will this hurt if I'm wrong? If the answer to the second question is, too much, the professional walks away. They don't care if the trade goes to the moon without them. They don't have fear of missing out. They have the joy of missing out on a potential disaster. You need to fall in love with saying no. No, the setup isn't perfect. No, the risk to reward is bad. No, I'm feeling emotional today. Every no is a shield block that keeps your account alive. Here is the psychological trap. Your brain is not wired for trading. Your brain is wired for survival on the savannah. It wants immediate rewards and it runs from immediate pain. When you play offense, when you chase trades, you are feeding your brain dopamine. Even if you lose, the thrill of the gamble feels like being alive. It's why people stay broke in casinos. The lights, the sounds, the possibility of the jackpot, it's a drug. When you play defense, it's boring. Placing a stop-loss isn't sexy. Reducing your position size doesn't give you an adrenaline rush. Sitting on your hands for 3 days because the market is choppy feels like torture to a dopamine addict. But look at the bank accounts of the bored traders versus the excited traders. Excitement in trading is a red flag. If you are excited, you are likely over-leveraged. If you are sweating, you are gambling. Real trading, profitable, life-changing trading, should feel like watching paint dry. It should be routine. It should be a business operation. Imagine you own a construction company. You don't just start building walls randomly because you're excited. You check the soil. You pour the foundation. You buy insurance. You wear safety helmets. That is defense. If you build a skyscraper without a foundation, gravity will bring it down. It doesn't matter how beautiful the penthouse is if the ground floor collapses. We see this with funded traders every single day. They pass the challenge. They get the certificate. They feel like kings. What happens next? The offense takes over. They start calculating which Lamborghini they're going to buy. They risk 2 or 3% per trade trying to rush the payout. And boom! Account breached in 72 hours. They had the skill to pass, but they lacked the defense to keep the seat. They were playing to win, instead of playing not to die. I want you to become the house. Think about a casino in Las Vegas. Do they panic when a gambler wins a jackpot? No. Do they try to win it back immediately? No. The casino has a defensive edge. They have table limits. They have rules. They know that over a series of 1,000 spins on the roulette wheel, the math guarantees they will end up with all the money. The gambler is playing offense. They are betting big, hoping for a miracle. The casino is playing defense. They are managing risk, knowing the probabilities will play out. You are currently behaving like the drunk tourist at the blackjack table. You win a few hands, you get cocky, you shove all your chips in, and you leave broke. To become the house, you must rigidize your defense. The house never risks 50% of its vault on one roll of the dice. Never. The house doesn't have feelings about the game. The house is just a machine that executes an edge. When you prioritize defense, you are protecting your edge. You are ensuring that you stay at the table long enough for the probabilities to work in your favor. If your strategy has a 60% win rate, that means you will lose 4 out of 10 times. If you play poor defense, those 4 losses will wipe you out before you ever get to the 6 wins. If you play great defense, those 4 losses are just business expenses, tiny cuts that heal instantly, allowing you to cash in on the 6 wins. There is a secret benefit to playing defense that nobody talks about. It cures your psychology problems. Most of you think you have a discipline problem. You think you need to read more mindset books or meditate more. Usually, you don't have a mindset problem. You have a position sizing problem. You are emotional because you are scared. You are scared because you are risking money you can't afford to lose. When you flip the switch to defense first, you drastically reduce your risk per trade. Suddenly, a loss doesn't hurt. If you lose 0.5% of your account, does your heart race? No. You shrug your shoulders and look for the next setup. When you remove the fear of death, your vision clears up. You start seeing the market for what it actually is, not what you need it to be to pay your rent. Desperation is the most expensive emotion in the world. The market smells desperation. It hunts desperate traders. When you are desperate to make money, you force trades. You short support. You long resistance. You hold losers hoping they turn around. But when you are focused on protection, you operate from a place of abundance. You don't need this trade to work. You are fine either way. And ironically, that detachment is exactly what is required to make massive profits. The best offense in the world is a byproduct of an impenetrable defense. Think of a boxer. The guy who keeps his hands up, protects his chin, and conserves his energy is the one who knocks you out in round 10. The guy swinging wildly in round 1 usually ends up on the canvas. So, how do we fix this? How do we stop being the victim and start being the predator? I'm challenging you to a 30-day reset. We'll call it the Iron Protocol. For the next 30 days, your goal is not to make money. Let me repeat that. Your goal is not to make money. Your goal is to finish the month with the same amount of money you started with. If you start with $1,000 and you end the month with $1,000, you have won. Here is how the protocol works. First, you implement the hard stop. No trade is ever entered without a stop loss in the system. Not a mental stop. A hard stop. If the market hits it, you are out. No negotiating. No praying. You accept the hit and you move on. Second, you use the 2-bullet limit. You have 2 bullets per day. 2 trades. If you lose 2 trades in a row, you are done for 24 hours. You lock the screens. You go outside. This prevents the death spiral of revenge trading. Third, execute the half-size rule. Whatever you think you should risk, cut it in half. You want to risk $100? Risk 50. Prove to me that you can manage risk before you try to scale it. Finally, the review. At the end of the week, don't look at your profits and losses. Look at your execution. Did you protect the castle? Did you follow the rules? If you do this for 30 days, something magical will happen. You will stop bleeding. The anxiety will leave your body. And because you aren't digging yourself out of a hole every morning, the small wins will actually start to stack up. You will realize that the offense takes care of itself. The market provides the opportunities. You don't create them. Your only job is to be alive and ready when they arrive. Paul Tudor Jones, one of the greatest to ever play this game, didn't have a sticky note on his computer that said, "Make more money." He had a note that said, "Losers average losers." He was obsessed with what could go wrong. George Soros was the same. He said it's not whether you're right or wrong, it's how much you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. The masters of the universe are defensive players. The broke retail traders are offensive players. Choose which team you want to be on. The market is going to be here tomorrow. The market is going to be here in 10 years. The only question is, will you? Build your shield. Protect your capital. Survive the game. Thanks for watching.